There exists an artist whose work is as mystifying as it is masterful. A man who turned away from fame and walked instead into the shadows. A draftsman of demons, a mystic of the subconscious. His name was Austin Osman Spare. And what he left behind was not only haunting art, but an occult system that still pulses through modern magic. Welcome to This Is It, where we explore the weird, the esoteric, and the forgotten. Part 1, The Prodigy in the Shadow. Austin Osman Spare was born in London in 1886 to a working-class family. From a young age, it was clear he was no ordinary boy. By 12, he was already sketching obsessively and studying art in the evenings. By 17, he had stunned critics by becoming the youngest artist to exhibit at the Royal Academy. But Spare wasn't interested in applause. He was after something deeper, something hidden. His art bore the influences of symbolism, Art Nouveau, and the grotesque. Critics were baffled. Some called him a genius, others said he was mad. One reviewer described his work as wildly fantastic and unintelligible. That suited Spare just fine. Part 2, Art and the Abyss. Spare's early published works, like Earth Inferno and A Book of Satyrs, were filled with arcane symbolism, erotic figures, and impossible beings. But this wasn't fantasy, it was his inner world. In his 20s, Spare drifted into the orbit of Aleister Crowley, the infamous occultist. Crowley recognized his talent, even inviting him into the AA magical order. Spare joined, but quickly grew disillusioned. He had no time for ceremonial robes and rigid hierarchies. Spare was crafting his own form of magic, one built not on ritual but on the raw forces of the unconscious mind. Part 3, Zos, Kia, and the Alchemy of Self. At the heart of Spare's magical system were two concepts, Zos and Kia. Zos, his own body and identity. Kia, the universal force, the pure consciousness beyond ego. To Spare, true magic came not from gods or spirits, but from bypassing the conscious mind and accessing the subconscious, the realm of pure desire. This led him to develop sigil magic, transforming a will or desire into a symbolic glyph, then launching it into the subconscious through trance or ecstasy. Forget wands and incense. For Spare, a pencil, a page, and the power of the inner mind were enough to change reality. Part 4, The Reclusive Rebel. Despite early fame, Spare never chased success. He lived in working-class South London, often in poverty, yet continued to produce hundreds of artworks. He drew anyone, from society ladies to elderly neighbors, and filled sketchbooks with grotesque satyrs and hybrid creatures. He taught art to local youths, hosted exhibitions in his own home, and turned down offers from major galleries. One journalist dubbed him the father of Surrealism, long before the term was popular. And yet Spare stayed invisible to the mainstream, by choice. He once said, "An artist who seeks fame resembles a beggar seeking coins." Part 5. Sigils, Spirituality, and the Birth of Chaos Magic. Austin Osman Spare didn't just draw strange beings, he offered a radical new path to spiritual power. At the core of his system was a belief that magic happens within, not through external gods or rituals, but through the shaping of personal will and inner reality. In the early 20th century, occultism was dominated by theatrical ceremonial magic, robes, incantations, lodges. Spare dismissed it all as the parading of dead symbols. He rejected dogma and hierarchy in favor of a deeply individual mysticism rooted in the subconscious mind. This was a revolution. Decades later, this revolution would explode into something new: chaos magic. Pioneered by Peter J. Carroll and Ray Sherwin in the 1970s and 80s, chaos magic took Spare's methods and evolved them into a modern, stripped-down, results-driven magical system. At the heart of it all, Spare's technique of sigilization. Here's how it works. A desire, any intent, is reduced to a sentence. That sentence is condensed into a symbolic glyph. Then, in a state of trance or ecstasy, the magician fires it into the subconscious mind, where it bypasses the censoring ego and reshapes reality from within. It's simple, effective, and it changed the course of Western magic. Spare's focus on desire, identity, and the unconscious anticipated not only chaos magic, but much of modern psychological spirituality. His view of Kia, a kind of universal consciousness, echoes the Tao of Taoism, the Atman of Vedanta, or the Self of Jungian psychology. He believed this force could be accessed through self-love, sexual energy, and artistic ecstasy. In many ways, Austin Osman Spare was performing a kind of occult psychotherapy decades before the word existed. Part 6. Legacy of a Mystic Iconoclast. After Spare's death in 1956, his work might have been lost entirely. But it was revived, first by Kenneth Grant, who wove Spare's teachings into his own visionary system of Thelemic and Lovecraftian magic. Later, Spare's sigil techniques became the cornerstone of the Temple of Psychic Youth, an underground collective merging performance art, magic, and industrial music. And still later, his ideas exploded into internet subcultures, independent magicians, digital artists, and even occult memes. Spare is a rare figure, one of the few occultists whose spiritual system and artistic vision were one and the same. His drawings were not illustrations of belief, they were embodiments of it. He believed in atavistic resurgence, that deep within the human psyche live ancestral memories from our evolutionary past. His horned animalistic figures were expressions of this primal truth. To him, the soul was not some pure divine spark, but a composite being, haunted by forgotten incarnations. Spare's significance lies not only in what he created, but in what he liberated. He freed magic from hierarchy. He freed art from convention. He freed spirituality from dogma. In a world increasingly hungry for authenticity, inner experience, and direct revelation, Austin Osman Spare feels less like a figure from the past and more like a prophet of the present. Part 7. What did he see? What Spare captured on paper was not just art, it was a mirror of the invisible. He showed us beings that lurk beneath the conscious mind. Forces we ignore, desires we deny, spirits we might one day become. Whether you see him as a visionary, a mystic, or a madman, Austin Osman Spare was undeniably one thing: an artist who dared to paint what lies behind the veil. Thank you for watching. This is it. If you found this journey into the occult and the uncanny illuminating, hit subscribe and tap the bell. There's much more to uncover beneath the surface. Until next time, look deeper.